What you're about to see is an instructional video on martial arts. This particular art is called Kali. It's a Filipino art. If you're going to pursue something of this nature, I recommend seeking someone out who's qualified in instructing this type of martial art. Basically, you should do that for any type of martial art. So with that being said, I would like to get into our presentation. Okay. Look. Hi, my name is Guro Jerry Allen, and I've been practicing and training in the art of Kali, which is a Philippine martial art, under my instructor, who is Guro Tony Marcial. The art of Kali, they employ 3 different weapon systems, and the one is the eskrima stick, which is a stick about yay long. The other would be any kind of edged weapon, a knife or short sword. And a third one would be empty hand applications of which you do with the stick and or knife. So what happens is that you're training in 3 basic arts at the same time as you progress. Now, what's the difference between using what I have here, which is a cane, and what I've done is develop a martial arts system employing the cane? Well, the difference between using a standard eskrima stick or any other kind of instrument for striking is that the cane has this little hook, okay? The shaft of the cane is what's called the baston. This is referred to as the sabit, okay? And basically, roughly translated, means cane in Philippine. Now, aside from having the advantage of distance, the big advantage of using this particular weapon is that you have a leverage advantage that you don't really have with the standard eskrima stick. So what I'm going to be doing and demonstrating is the use of the leverage that you're able to attain against a stronger, larger opponent. This is an example of a practice form which features many of the techniques of Baston Sabit. In karate, these forms are referred to as katas. In the Philippines, they call these sayaws. These forms are not intended to represent a logical sequence of events, but rather a series of moves strung together to serve as a type of shadow boxing. Each move or combination of moves represents a tool or technique. With constant repetition and training, they can eventually become integrated into the practitioner's memory. The purpose is to make these tools available on an instinctual level for effective response. These forms are then broken down into training drills for practical application with 1 or more partners. What you just saw is an example of one of the techniques that I use a lot. It's based on the Kali system, and it's called the de cuerdas. And what happens, the de cuerdas, roughly translated, refers to winding or rewinding. And this particular movement can be used in a lot of different circumstances. And the one we just did was basically, he comes up and he puts his hands on the cane. And what I'm doing here, I got the crook here, and I shoot that straight, okay? And I hook him here, and he goes down, and bang, I do a pull cue shot. Okay, here's what's happening. He grabs the cane, I push out to my left here. this comes around. Here's the dequirtus where it winds, and I catch him in the back of the neck, and then I hit, like so. Okay, here's another example of how the dequirtus is used. Same basic attack. This time I'm going to use forward pressure to hit him. I'm going to punch him here, and when I come around the top, here's the winding up, and I push down, and then again I want to hit him, and I don't basically want to let him lay there without being hit, because you've got to eliminate the threat. Okay, another example of the dequirtus, same basic attack, but for some reason I have to go to this side as opposed to going to this side. I come in, I go in deep, and I get behind his arm here, down, strike. Okay, we're going to explore some of the wrist grabs, very simple escapes from wrist grabs. So I'll be here, and first thing he wants to do is to take my cane away from me, like the other two or three times. He grabs my wrist, okay? From here, I'm going to grab the cane, both hands. I'm going to step in, hit to the side, back of the head, and strike. There's a double lapel grab. I'm going to shoot up the middle, get his attention that way. The shaft of the cane comes here to this wrist, while the other side comes to this wrist. I push him down, and bang. Okay, what's happening here is there's another grab being done on my cane, and I don't like that. So I'm going to exert forward pressure once again. The object is to hit him in the throat with my elbow. So when I come down, the elbow hits here. This comes up, down. Okay, we have a condition here where somebody comes up from behind and does a bear hug. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm bringing this crook of this cane right down on the top of his hand, and I push as hard as I can, which hopefully will make him let go. So what happens is once that happens, I rake it out and then come here. Again, this is a two-handed weapon for most purposes, especially close quarter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be holding like so, and when the attack comes in, I'm going to be blocking like so, and if it's a high line attack, I'll catch it here, okay? So what happens is he comes with what we call an angle 1. We assign numbers to a lot of our movements just for training purposes, so we know what each other are doing. Okay, so he comes with that number 1 attack. I hit, I step in, he goes down, bang. He may come in with an angle 2, which would be from this side coming into me here. So he comes in, I come here, I block, and you'll notice that my response is pretty similar to what I did the first time. So the beauty of this is that I can block here or I can block here. Let's say, for instance, he comes with a low line attack, which we call like an angle 3, like right in here. So as he comes in, I hit, I come over the top, hit, and down. Now, one of the features I like about this particular cane is that I've modified my canes to the point where the hook doesn't come down as far as it normally would. I basically shaved it off a little bit shorter. The purpose being that when he went down, if I had a regular cane, I could potentially get my cane stuck here and be playing a hard time trying to get it off of his neck. But with this particular modified cane, a defense against an angle 4 attack, which would be coming low to here. He comes in, I come here, over the top, and then hit him across the side of the head. Now when he starts to go down, I can disengage very easily because I have my modified cane. It's not going to get caught on his neck. Okay, next we have a situation where what we call an angle 4 coming from this side, low line attack. He comes in, I block it, I immediately strike here, bringing him down, and bang. Now, the beautiful thing about this, being a two-handed weapon, is that when I attack, when I strike, I'm punching out and pulling back at the same time. So it's a punch-pull, punch-pull. One more time with the 4. Bang. Here comes the punch-pull. I pull the hook back and I punch this out. And hopefully he lets go, and bang. Okay, the next circumstance here, we have an attacker coming in with a edged weapon. And effectively, when he comes in, I hit, and he lets go, and I bring him down, and bang. Okay, we have 2 basic blocks, and the one I demonstrated previously was what I call a close quarter block. And the beauty of, again, is that I can block high line attacks and low line attacks. What I have with the next blocking system is basically just shooting it up like so. It almost comes up the line, center line, and blocking like so. And this is what I call basically a Largo Mono style block. I may have a little, he might be a little bit further away from me, but he may be coming in. I catch it here, feed it down, and hit. Okay, we have another circumstance where he may have me trapped and he's got the knife at my throat. Now, what I want to do primarily is to get the knife to go that way. So when I bring this up to 12 o'clock, I hit, clear, bang, and I hit. Once again. In the previous demonstration, we had the knife on this side. And what I don't want to do is, if he had the knife here, I wouldn't want to do that because he just sliced my throat. Okay. So what happens is that I want the blade to go in a direction the blade is pointing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is come hit, boom. So effectively, the formula here is that you always want the knife to go in a direction away from your throat. If he's on this side, I want the knife to be going that way. That's where the knife is pointing. Okay. So this side here, it's pointing there, bang, hit. Come over this side. Like so. Bang, hit. One of the first examples we started out with was the situation where the cane is grabbed by the assaulting party. And what I did was I came like so, and this time he hung on. Now, there's a lot of different things that could happen because, you know, we don't, in a real world situation, this guy doesn't know what I'm doing, and I don't know how he's going to react. So he may do something completely different. When I go here, he may, see, he let go. This time I caught him in the head. Okay. These things happen quick, and they're very random, and you can't really predict exactly how your attacker is going to react once you break free and once you start, you know, countering his movements. That's why it's so important to have an instructor, so he can tell you what the what-if scenarios could possibly be. The use of a cane as a method of self-defense can be very effective, but there are basically some drawbacks. One of the first things that's as a positive would be the fact that you can carry this anywhere you need to. You can get on an airplane with it, you can go through a metal detector, and if anybody asks you why you have it, one thing I want to stress very dramatically is that you don't identify this as a weapon. When you go to get on an airplane and they ask you why you have a cane, well, do you want to use this for self-defense? You know, no, they'll take it away from you. If they ask you why you have it, based on the 1990 Medical Disability Act and all the HIPAA rules and everything that are in place, They're not even allowed to ask you why you have it. So you're pretty safe in taking this anywhere you need to go. With some stipulations regarding the nature of the actual cane. Is it loaded? Is there a blade inside? Does it fire a cartridge? These are things you cannot take anywhere, okay? So effectively, what you have here is a very simple cane. Nobody's going to want to basically take that away from you unless they're really serious about doing some serious harm to you. And again, you can take this anywhere you need to take it. Now, some of the positive features about this cane is what I've gone over before about the hook, okay? The other being that most people will walk around with a cane like this, okay? When you're using a cane, you want to use it with the hook forward, which is very important, because you have more leverage in striking from this position than you do if you came this way. If I met with any resistance, what would happen? This thing would twist in my hand. You have a very, powerful grip on this thing, and it's a very solid hit when you hit like so, or hit like so, or hit like so, okay? Very effective. So again, a highly, versatile weapon that you can use, very effective and very safe and legal. Very important, legal. I've often been asked, how old do you have to be to use a cane? I mean, is this something that an older person could actually use? Is it something a younger person could use? The bottom line is this is good for anybody at any age. But the most important thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to learn how to use this thing before you get to the point where you need it, okay? Once you've gotten there, it's very difficult to go from ground zero and actually develop any kind of a system. So I would recommend anybody, young kids, adults, older people, that with disabilities, to get involved with this. But when you start out, try to go somewhere where you can start out and develop these things while you're still able to walk around, okay? And that you don't really need this to get around. What you want to do is accentuate the use of this thing, not only for medical purposes. Give you a good example. Somebody pushed me. There's my stability, very important, okay? This thing has a lot of uses, a lot of applications, so keep that in mind. Start out when you're able to do this thing physically. I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you're interested in pursuing a study of this particular martial art, you can view the information at the end of the video, and please avail yourself of that information, and I thank you very much for watching.